Welcome to VC's class. In today's class, we will discuss about blood and blood components. So, in the earlier classes, we have discussed about heart, valves, and all. Now, we will discuss about blood and blood components. So, first, we will see the definition for blood. Blood is a special connective tissue consisting of a fluid matrix, plasma, and formed elements. So, what is plasma? Plasma is a straw-colored viscous fluid constituting nearly 55% of the blood, and 90 to 92% of plasma is water, and proteins contribute 6 to 8% of it. So here we can see what is the color of plasma. The color of plasma is straw colored, and it is also called as viscous fluid, and it is a major portion of the blood with 55%, and in plasma 90 to 92% is water, and protein contributes only 6 to 8%. Plasma contains fibrinogen, globulins, and albumins as the major proteins. Fibrinogens are needed for clotting or coagulation of blood. So, what are required for clotting of blood? Fibrinogens are required. Globulins primarily are involved in defense mechanisms of the body, and the albumins help in osmotic balance. So, globulins and albumins plays a major role. One with the globulin is with defense mechanism, and albumin is with osmotic balance. Plasma contains small amounts of minerals like sodium ions, calcium ions, magnesium ions, bicarbonate ions, and chlorine ions. Glucose, amino acids, lipids, etc. are also present in the plasma, as they are always in transit in the body. They always show movement, and they are moved from cells to blood, and so all the assimilation process occurs. Factors for coagulation of clotting of blood are also present in the plasma in an inactive form. So how the form of factors for coagulation are present in the plasma? They are in the form of inactive forms. So they need some factors to get activated. Plasma without clotting factors is called serum. So if plasma is without clotting factors, it is considered or called as serum. Now, what are formed elements? Erythrocytes, leukocytes, and platelets are collectively called formed elements, and they constitute nearly 45% of the blood. So generally we all see it as cells of blood. These cells of blood are particularly called as formed elements, as they are derivatives. So coming to erythrocytes. So what are erythrocytes? Erythrocytes are red blood cells, are also called as RBC, are the most abundant of all the cells in the blood. So if we see in blood, erythrocytes are of major component or major portion. A healthy adult man has on an average of 5 millions to 5.5 millions of RBCs. RBCs are formed in the red bone marrow in the adults. RBCs are devoid of nucleus in most of the mammals and are biconcave in shape. So what is the shape of RBC? Biconcave shape, and it is not having nucleus, but in early embryonic stage it possesses, and after maturation it will not have, except in camels. They have a red colored iron containing complex protein called hemoglobin, and hence the color and the name of these cells. So because of the presence of red color and iron containing complex called hemoglobin, the erythrocytes are called as RBCs. Erythro means red. A healthy individual has 12 to 16 grams of hemoglobin in every 100 ml of blood. So what is the composition of a healthy man's RBC is 12 to 16 grams per 100 ml. These molecules play a significant role in the transport of respiratory gases. So we know what are respiratory gases, O2, CO2. So these hemoglobin plays a vital role or major or significant role in transport of these two gases. RBCs have an average lifespan of 120 days, after which they are destroyed in the spleen. So here we can see the graveyard of RBCs. What is the graveyard of RBC? Spleen is considered as the graveyard of RBC. Coming to leukocytes. So what are leukocytes? Leukocytes are also known as white blood cells or WBC, as they are colorless due to lack of hemoglobin. So due to the lack of hemoglobin they are colorless and they are considered as WBC. They are nucleated and are relatively lesser in number, which averages 6000 to 8000 mm of blood. Leukocytes are generally short-lived. In leukocytes we have two categories. They are granulocytes and agranulocytes. Neutrophils, eosinophils and basophils are different types of granulocytes. Lymphocytes and monocytes are the agranulocytes. So you can see the image of the pictures of neutrophils, basophils, eosinophils and all. So neutrophils are the most abundant cells, and 60 to 65% of the total WBC, and basophils are the least with 0.5 to 1%. Neutrophils and monocytes are phagocytic cells which destroy foreign organisms entering the body. Basophils secrete histamine, serotonin, heparin. All these are involved in inflammatory reactions. Basophils are responsible for inflammatory reactions, and they secrete histamine, serotonin and heparin, anticoagulant like heparin and all. Eosinophils are of 2 to 3%, and they resist infections and are also associated with allergic reactions. Lymphocytes 20 to 25% are of two major types, B and T forms, B lymphocyte and T lymphocyte. Both B and T lymphocyte are responsible for immune responses of the body, and we can discuss about these lymphocytes in immunology topics. Coming to platelets. What are platelets? Platelets are called thrombocytes, are cell fragments produced from megakaryocytes, which are special cells in the bone marrow. Blood normally contains 1500 to 3500 platelets. Platelets can release a variety of substances, most of which are involved in the coagulation or clotting of blood. A reduction in their number can lead to clotting disorders which will lead to excessive loss of blood from the body. I hope you all understood the concept clearly. So in the next topics we will discuss in the next class.